Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your wonderful and most enjoyable faces to another Building Tactics episode. Now, we are with Extenzyy, and we are giving you Steampunk. You guys already know, we 5 episodes deep. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Now, where we last left off, we were on level number 2, and we were getting ready to give you guys some extrusions, some lanterns, different. I'm gonna let Extenzyy explain that. You guys already know. You've seen it, episode 1 through 4, and if you haven't seen it, now's the time before you get deep into episode 5 and you're kind of lost and you're wondering, where am I at? What am I doing? Go catch up 1 through 4. You can catch episode 1 on our second channel. The link will be in the description below. Episode 2 through 4 are going to be on our main channel. And you're probably wondering, why is that? Why did we split it up? And in all actuality, we started the Building Tactics series on our second channel because the main channel wasn't back yet. But it's back full
of... So just to recap, what we did in the first episode was we made our base house. We made the kind of shell and the frame that we're going to build everything else off of. So we did that. And then we went back over in the second episode and we added on some fancy stuff. And then the third episode we went up another tier with it. And we added on, this is what I would call the main extrusions. It's a lot easier to get these out of the way first before you do anything else. So you want to try and get the big stuff done first, if that makes any sense. So the house extrusions and the large decks and everything, that should be the first thing that you do when you're balancing. And then you can go back in and add in lanterns, windmills, another deck off of an extrusion, cranes, stuff of that nature. So it's a lot easier to do it that way. I mean, you can do it the other way, only if you have a good eye for balancing, but like we've been stressing this so much, that just comes with doing the style. You'll get an eye for it, and you'll be able to make that judgment call when to put stuff where. But for now, to make things a lot easier for you guys and for me, we're gonna get the big stuff done first, and then we're gonna go back through and do the little stuff, which is what today's episode is going to be focused about.
Now, before you get into it a little bit further, I want to show what you got going on here. You got a glowstone marker with a sign for the crane, another one here for the deck, and we've explained it, I believe, in episode 1 that it's wise to do that. You don't have to. This is just some of the little tips and tricks that we have learned to help us know what we're doing. If you have a plan,
yep.
It works a lot better. Your system and your building will come together a lot smoother, because you know what you're gonna do. You know where you're gonna put things, how they're gonna go, and you get a visual in your mind. And once that's set, all you got to do is just place it and get it built and get it done. And then once you're done,
yep.
You're more likely to keep it with a plan rather than not. I've seen people time and time again just do an amazing base structure build, and then they try to accessorize, add decks or add whatever they want to add, but they don't have a plan for it, and then it ends up being something that they get stuck on. They remove it. They keep putting different things just because they don't give themselves the opportunity to visualize it. So just this little something for you guys out there to remember. So let's go, man. Let's get into this, because I know they're excited. And I know Extenzy's been replying to your guys' comments, and I know he's been following the Twitter and pictures and stuff like that. So keep them coming. Definitely keep them coming. And remember, you guys, we cannot stress enough, this is base. This is the base operation here. This ain't for you guys to... This is not your normal tutorial series, right, Extenzyy? I mean, explain to them, because I don't know if they understand. And let's clear that up so that they understand what we got going on here in the building tactics series.
Yeah, it's not so much of a tutorial as where you just go through the works and mindlessly place block after block, copying the video. It's used more or less as inspiration and ideas and just things that you should look out for when you're building your own style, which is, I think, a lot more fun than just copying a video and making the same exact house. Because you never know how many people have seen that video and how many people are making the same exact house that you're making. You want to be unique and you want to be standing out in all the things that you do. So that's what these building tactics videos are really made for, to help you develop your own style. And you're learning from some of the best builders, like Chunk always says. Everyone who's done a building tactics so far knows what they're doing, and all they're doing is trying to help you guys. Not necessarily for you guys to copy them block for block, but sure, you can grab inspiration from their builds and use similar things, but the main goal of this is for you to walk away with the knowledge of how to approach the style, and once you do get into the groove of actually making your own thing, where to take it from there.
Absolutely. 100% agree with that. Definitely. So now, without further ado, we postponed it enough. It's time. It's time to get deep into it. Let's go. Let's see. So what are you gonna start with though? Are you gonna start with the deck or?
Yeah, we'll start with the front right here. And as I said earlier, as soon as you put the base house down, you can knock out like the larger things that you want to put on. So really, you're doing balancing twice. So you'll balance all the big stuff out, and then you'll take a look back at the big stuff and figure out, okay, well, is there anything else that I can add on to a certain area? Because remember, this specific style of steampunk, it's really haphazard. It's really cluttered, and it's supposed to be like that. So we want to utilize as much space as we can. So we're going to go ahead and start right here, and we're going to make a small deck, very small. Fill up that space that we have right now. And then we'll put another support beam as well. Start that from right down here.
Now, as you're doing that, I'm going to be asking you questions because we've gotten a few questions from some people on the Twitter and on the comment section of the videos and stuff like that. A few people have asked, why do you choose the natural texture pack? Now, before you answer that, let me say this to everybody out there. In a normal situation, as a team as a whole, like downloadable, playable maps and stuff like that, we usually build our stuff on vanilla, on the regular texture pack that you get in Minecraft. And but our members like to use different things that they believe enhances their build. So again, it's as a downloadable playable maps, 99% of the time you're going to get them in vanilla, depending on certain situations. But the question is directed to you, sir. Why do you choose the natural texture pack?
In my opinion, texture packs can be really versatile when it comes to what kind of theme you're doing. So since this is like an island, and eventually later on into the series, I'll show you guys if you plan on doing an island setting, which fits the style perfectly, by the way. Forests and islands and really cool scenery and nature and that kind of thing. That's what blends really, really good with this specific steampunk style. To be honest with you, I do like the Skyrim texture pack and how the houses look, and obviously it varies depending on, what wood you use and everything, but for my towers, if I'm going for like a darker kind of setting, I'll use the Skyrim texture pack because the blocks in there, they're dark, it's really heavy, there's a lot of shading and shadowing, but for the natural texture pack, it makes the environment around the house still looks good, don't get me wrong, but the environment around the house just looks so much better. There's a lot more things that you can do. Um, and I'm sure you've seen the sneak peeks of the whole entire main island itself. All the trees, the land bridge, all that kind of stuff. It really, really blends really well with all the houses. And if I put it on the Skyrim texture pack, it doesn't look light enough. It doesn't look cheerful, if you will. It kind of looks too dull. So it all depends on what you want your map to look like, really. I use the natural one because I think it looks the best.
Would you ever use the steampunk texture pack building in steampunk? That's another question that we get a little bit, especially when it comes to the particular style, the steampunk style.
hmm I think when they made that specific texture pack, they catered towards the Victorian side of steampunk, which is completely fine because plenty of people build that and make it look awesome. But um, I tried it. I loaded up my world in the steampunk texture pack, and if you guys want to, then we can link some pictures or something if you guys are just curious on what it looks like. But the wood has like the gears and all integrated in it. It just looks really kind of weird. It's not really what I was hoping for, and maybe that's why I don't use it.
Okay.
But it definitely looks better with the natural texture pack by far.
So you mentioned that with that texture pack, they kind of catered a little bit toward the Victorian side.
hmm
That just again reiterates we've said it plenty times before, episode 1 and 2 and stuff, that there are many different styles of steampunk, and there are many different styles to every style. To be quite honest, I mean,
hmm
when you mention Victorian, there's also a Victorian modern, if you will. Now I know those words they don't go together, but you can. There's a lot of there's a lot of
There's a lot
styles.
of different subdivisions to every single style that you have to
Yes,
take into account.
yeah, absolutely. Subdivisions, absolutely the word that I was looking for. So don't restrict yourselves, you guys. Again, I've never seen it. I've never seen like a Victorian or an industrial steampunk style mixed together. I've never seen I mean try it. Let me just say that as I stumble over my words. Try it. See what mix the styles up. Mix them up and see what you come up with. You never know. You might create something that is different and unique and looks good. At the end of the day, you got to remember it's got to look good. It can't. I can't stress enough. It's got to be sexy, you guys. You got. Listen, we see hundreds of maps all the time. Like, people are inviting Extenzyy, they're inviting myself, they're inviting other members of the team to come look at builds and maps that they have created. And in all actuality, like, we see tons of different things of people coming up with stuff, and a lot of them are definitely unique. Unfortunately, they're it again. Planning is key. Sometimes they're not planned very well, and it doesn't work. So if you do create something new, a new style, plan it out properly, and I guarantee you it will look sexy. I promise you it will look sexy. And then put your thoughts into the builds. At the end of the day, a dirt house is exactly that, a dirt house. So if you take the time to put in the detailing, whether you over detail it or you under detail it, whichever you choose, it's up to you. But as long as you plan it out, it'll look sexy. So that's the key, sexiness. Make it look good, and it'll be good. Promise you. What are you doing now, Extenzyy? Like, man, you came over here. You added a crane. There's some iron blocks on it. We got little light source here for the wheat, and I want to say that's melons. I'm gonna say melons.
Hmm.
form on the deck here? Are we adding another deck? What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Yes, we are. So if you look underneath of this area, there's a lot of negative space that we can fill with some stuff.
Okay.
And depending on where the support beam falls, we may even be able to add on another deck or extrusion somewhere.
Okay.
Um, but whenever you have this area right here seems really, really open.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to try and fill up all those negative spaces, which is what, excuse me, as much stuff as possible. Um, just like right here with this gigantic support beam, there was a whole entire big area, and we needed something to fill it up with. So we're going to do the same thing with this lantern, and then with this support beam on this deck right here.
All right. You as you were showing them all, you know, the open space and stuff like that, I saw something. And I haven't seen you do anything with what I'm about to approach you with. And I know that you thought about it, but I want to get your thoughts on why you haven't, or is it just a choice, or is it have you tried it and it didn't look good type of thing. As you were explaining the negative space and things that you can do, and the showing them the option to add another deck and stuff within this area, have you ever tried doing a like a diagonal style deck? Is that possible, for one, for the structure of the build, or and the look of the build? Have you ever done something like that?
I have, and that's another one of those things where it's all about where you put it and what you use to balance it with. You could totally make a diagonal deck, but on certain areas it's kind of hard to. Like looking at this portion right here, I'm not really sure where I would integrate one at, because we kind of have this portion right here that's sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
We would have to like build around this area, somewhere around here,
Mm-hmm.
which it makes your job a little bit harder when it comes to balancing, because when you do something diagonal on one side, you got to make sure that you balance it out on the other.
Right. Right.
Um, so, I mean, later down the line, we can probably try and integrate something like that.
Okay.
But for now, we're going to keep it a little bit more simple. But you can
Yeah.
definitely do it once you feel comfortable enough with doing what you're doing.
I think you're absolutely right. I think when we get into the more advanced stages of the series, we'll integrate it and see what it looks like. Now, because, and this is what I mean by structure. Remember, guys, when you're building and you're structuring stuff out, structure goes a long way. Now, like Extenzyy said before, like, this is the base structure of the build. These are they all these posts and pillars. They add structural integrity to the build. So if you, let's say, for example, what I mean by that is, if you remove this beam or this beam here, you lose a lot of structural integrity, and the building will probably collapse on itself. So if you add a diagonal deck at that point without like proper balancing, like Extenzyy said, again, you're not going, it's not going to look good, and the basic structure of it is not going to be sound. So it's not going to, it's got to, I can't find the
Gotta
words.
blend.
Yeah,
Gotta mesh.
yeah, it's got to blend, it's got to mesh, and it's got to make sense. At the end of the day, architects use this all the time when they're building. They use blueprints. Their blueprints are set up for a reason. One, there's planning, and two, there's structural beams and structural basic. How do I explain it so you guys out there in live YouTube land can understand? Four posts or pillars or whatever will hold up the roof. Remove one of them, it's going to tumble over. That's the basic reality of it. You in urban design and some new style of architecture, you can place those 4 posts in different ways where you can still get the structural integrity, but at the end of the day, it's still 4 posts. So make sure you guys look at all aspects of your build. Don't just say, okay, I'm going to make something just so it looks good. Make sure that makes sense, because it's got to make sense. It's got to be safe. Remember, you guys are going to have a lot of people coming into your world and trying to enjoy it and have fun. If it's not safe, if they got blocks falling on them and stuff like that, they're not going to come back. So you come on now. Let's build it proper. Let's build it sexy right the first time, guys. Look at this. Look at what we got going on here. Wow. Look at that.
So you see how that simple thing filled up all this negative space that we have?
Exactly. Yep.
So that one little thing is the solution to all that. And that comes with balancing again.
Balance.
But if you're ever in doubt, throw a crane somewhere, throw a house extrusion, do something. If you find yourself like looking like right around here, there's a lot of negative space underneath here, and now that I'm looking at it, we could even fit a small little deck on this first level right here.
Small little deck going in on the first level right there, people. Pay attention. Look at what we're giving you. We are giving you, I've said it once, I'll say it again. You asking for 2 scoops. We're giving you 3. Come on with it, people. Come on with it. Vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. Unless you're pistachio, people. Go get some pistachio in there. Do what you... Man, add it in there. Mix it all up. It's all love. Because look at all this. Look at the sexiness we got going on here. Before Extenzyy goes off and starts adding even more stuff, we're going to say goodbye for this episode. Because, listen, we got more to give you. You just got to stay tuned. You've been with us this long. You might as well sit it on out, people. Come on now. Now, again, leave a like. You like what you see. You like what's going on. You are understanding the series and stuff like that. Let us know. There's a comment section for a reason. You guys have been vocal up to this point. Keep it coming, man. We love, again, we are interacting with you guys on levels that we don't do quite often, to be honest with you, and we want to. The thing is you guys got to let us know what's going on. We with the main channel being back and us trying to get that back in the groove and the wheels turning on that again. Leave the comments. Let us know what you guys think. Okay. Again, Extenzyy is going to respond to your comments. Send them pictures on Twitter. Tag us in it. I want to see them too. They're going to be awesome. But for Building Tactics, episode number 5, it's a wrap, y'all. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.